Good evening. This is my week 6 update for my weather and routing web application. This week I didn't get as much done as I'd like. That had a lot to do with the fact that I finished the mid evaluation on Wednesday and went out of town to see my grandfather in hospice on Friday. So I just got back this evening and I wanted to show what I had gotten accomplished. So I was able to find a separate API for the dark sky that allowed for some of the issues that I was facing with utilizing the JavaScript to make the calls. It has a built-in API for Node that they offered that was built by another user, and I was able to locate this, and it was able to fix some of the issues that I had based off of my geotagging and times. The previous iteration of my plan for routing and weather was for every city that I passed through, I was going to pull the weather, the alerts, and based off of the time I was going to take to travel there. That didn't work very well for some locations because they wouldn't have any cities that they would pass through. A lot of it would be rural or non-city locations through back areas. So instead of doing that, I changed it to using this Google response. This has the route. This is from Seattle to Houston, or Houston, yeah, Seattle to Houston, and it allows within the legs that it shows, it will pull the total distance. It'll have each small segment of the trip, and then it will take that and pass it in. And these values right here are the time values to get from one location to the next in seconds. And what I did was pull those, and every 30 minutes, I'm going to take a location, latitude and longitude, and do the weather call for that. It'll also do a comparison between the start and end locations, so I'm not doing multiple calls on the same locations. From that, it will then be able to parse out that information. So it'll take these latitude and longitudes for the new types that we have and pass them into this node forecast. It's node forecast IO for dark sky. And with that, along with the time modified based off of when the time of the call was originated, it will then generate a URL. The URL is passed into the dark sky API, and then that will pass back the information that the dark sky will provide, which will be the weather alerts, and any other conditions I'm going to be looking for. Then I'll be able to display that. And one of the additional problems I was facing was being able to generate HTML that was visible. There was a Google example of showing how the directions can be shown in a div, but I found this one that will be able to show specifically the weather responses that I'm pulling out and parsing out of that information. And I should be able to get that accomplished this week, if not by next Monday, shortly thereafter. That'll be the bulk of what's remaining in my program. And then it'll be mostly fine-tuning, and then maybe the data storage, which was the last part of my API, along with rerouting, which is the dragging of the routes themselves. After you select which one you're looking at, if you want to go in and make modifications. Hopefully I'll have a lot more to show for next week, and that's it. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.